Welcome to episode 2 of Mental, a mental health podcast. This episode is, just like the first episode, completely improv with a note. As normal, I'm recording this outside on top of the hill, which, if you are following my Instagram, you will know what the hill is. It's literally a hill that I climb up each time I want to record an episode. So, forewarned, you will probably hear things like crunching of leaves from me walking back and forth and birds and things like that. Anyways, onwards to the episode. Episode 2, Fighting Your Battle. So, I have fought many mental battles myself, and I know that a lot of people are still currently fighting their battles. And never give up. There is a lot to life, and you have to get better for yourself. You never give up, no matter if you are on the edge or not. You just keep fighting. Just like me each time I climb this flippin' hill for these episodes. The hike never gets easier, and depending on which route I take, it might be steeper, it might be shallower. This route I took the normal one, which is the shallow one, but it still doesn't get easier because it's still very steep. So, never give up. Keep climbing that mountain. Keep fighting and winning. There is support out there, and you have to find that support. And I single-handedly just made it through 2 things of the list in 2 minutes. I'm just going to continue with the second one. Finding support. Support is out there. And if you know where to look, you can find the support you need. You can look towards your friends, your family, and if you go to therapy, your therapist. That's their job as your therapist, is to be your support and help you get better mentally. You have to find the support, and you have to never give up. Ever. You keep fighting day in and day out. It's hard, I know it is, but you have to keep fighting. And you will find the support if you know where to look. And if you don't know where to look, just keep looking. You will find it eventually. I know that the fight is hard. I know. And depending on the person, it might be easy, it might be hard. What was I saying? It's never easy to fight your own mind. Your mental illness and your problems mentally are completely valid, and your struggle is valid. You are valid. It doesn't matter what you think in life, who you let affect your life. Your struggle is your own. And it's up to you if you choose to bring other people to the struggle to help pick you up off the floor or not. Think of it as a bar fight with your mind. You either let yourself get beat up by people, and in which case people are being a metaphor for mental illnesses. You either get yourself beat up by it, or you call in your friends. Like, call in your friends, your family, the people that'll fight alongside you. They'll pick you up from the mud and blood of a battlefield and just get your stinking stuff together, and you will keep fighting. You won't give up because you are a warrior with your own mind. It's a battle, day in, day out. You just gotta keep fighting. You gotta get out of bed. You gotta start supporting yourself. Don't ever give up. And also, don't mind that plane flying overhead. It's probably the government spying on me, but shh. Sorry, I got kind of passionate and slightly preacher-ish there. Yeah. This entire episode is probably just going to be me ranting and raving about never giving up and fighting and such. So yeah. No, don't turn it off. No, stay. Stay! Please stay. I'm lonely and I need someone to talk to. I'm trying to make this as lighthearted as possible, but also not, because it's not something to be lighthearted about. Now, onwards to the third thing on the list, making the choice to fight. You gotta choose to fight for you, or for someone else. Either way, whatever you choose to fight for, you have to fight for. If you choose to fight for someone else, to get mentally stable for someone else, whether it's your friends, your family, your significant other, you fight and you get better for them. But most importantly, get better for yourself. I know that some people with their depression and anxiety think that they are worthless and that there is no hope and that everybody would be better off without them. But that's not true. It never is true. If you think people are better off without you and they make you feel like you are better off being gone, then you need to find better people. But you have to continue to make the choice each day to fight. I know that it is hard. I know that some days you won't be able to get out of bed in the morning because the choice to fight starts as soon as you wake up. Just keep fighting. Keep climbing the mountain that is life. There's so much more to it. There's so much more than wake up, work, pay bills, go back to sleep, repeat. There's so much more than that. There's so much more than the daily grind that makes people feel worthless, day in and day out. That's where a lot of people get it wrong, is you don't just get born, grow up, get a job, pay bills, and die. No, that's not what life is. Life is about living, not being alive. There's two different things between being alive in a physical sense and a mental sense, and being alive and living your life. Living your life is things that get you excited. Like for me, talking about history, talking about mental illnesses, trying to help people. It helps me, helping people and helping teach people about these things. Sure, it's kind of hypocritical that I have social anxiety and really hate being in crowds and really hate public speaking, but that's why I'm doing a podcast rather than a public speech. I can work around it. You can too. And you can fight each day and you can get better. And you can flip and do whatever you want. You have to put in the drive to get better, and you have to put in the drive to achieve what you want. You have to fight, and you have to live your life. Not just be alive. You have to live. And by living, I mean do the things that you want to do, that get you excited, that get you out in the world, to let the world know, hey world, I am here, and I am me, and nobody else is gonna beat me down. There's gonna be negativity in my life, but I'm not going to let it beat me down. Never will I let it beat me down. because I am me, and nobody else is me. My fight is my own, and I want to get better for myself as well as others, and I want to help other people, and I want to do what I want to do in my life rather than theirs and what they choose for me. Dear Lord, that was... Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I had that in me. As funky as it sounds, a lot of the time I get a lot of things that I talk about from motivational videos on YouTube, motivational things in the media, as well as animes, YouTube, from gaming videos, and such like that. And just like, say, Asta from Black Clover, he's a normal person like you and I, in a world that is surrounded by magic. Well, guess what? He has no magic. And he hasn't had magic since the day he was born. He was born with a defect that did not allow him to have magic. So, he decided he was going to train, be physically tough, and his motto is, "Not giving up is my magic." And that is very good for life. Humans don't have magic. Or they might, depending on what you want to do in your life. If you are, say... Well, let's see here. Let me contemplate this for a second. Religion is, in a way, magic, and prayers and stuff are technically magic. And then there's witches and Wiccans. Two technically different things, because there are Christian witches, as far as I know, and there are Wiccan witches. Wicca is the actual religion of witches, and Christians can practice the Wiccan arts. It's somehow apparently not going to hell. Technically, we don't have magic, though. Technically, we're just men and women. But if you wanted to look at it from a different perspective, everybody does have magic, and that magic is them, their uniqueness. I went off track there. Where was I? Yes. Not giving up. Not giving up is everybody's magic. You don't get where you want to be in life by giving up. You keep fighting, and you keep winning your battles mentally and physically. Physically, if you are a bodybuilder, or just someone that wants to exercise, or many other things that require physical effort, but that's besides the point. You fight mentally each day. You do not give up. You fight, because not giving up is your magic. It always will be. You will know your problems, learn about them, research how to get better, and you will get there. You will fight day in, day out, and you will get better mentally. You will. I believe in you. There are people in your life that do believe in you. I know I'm just some random person on the other end of a podcast mic, even though the mic is my phone. And I know that I'm a nerdy a-hole, but that's besides the point. I care, and if you need help, you can always ask for help from my Instagram page. You don't even have to follow it. I don't care. If you need help, text me and be like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast. I need to ask some advice." I will answer your call and I will give you advice. Dear Lord, this episode is really pumping me up. I don't even know why. Anyways. Let's see, where was I? I think I just made it through the first 3 in 15 minutes. The fourth thing on the list, taking the first step to get better. You want to know the first step? choosing to get better for yourself. Know your problems. Listening to this podcast is a first step. If you want to get better, this podcast will help. Many other videos on how to get better will help. That is a first step. Wanting to get better. I personally suggest getting better for yourself, because nobody else can tell you besides yourself that you need to get better. It's a choice you have to make on your own, not by anybody else's decree. Sure, people will be like, hey, you should probably get better mentally, but you have to make that decree by yourself. I knew and know people that have fought battles mentally. And I have told them, hey, you should get better. And they tried for me. But they never started trying for themselves until well after I had pretty much lost contact with them. Or just pushed them hard enough to choose for themselves. Like, for instance, someone that I care really much about, she was very depressed, and I do believe she still is slightly very depressed, and she was close to ending it multiple times. But I was there for her, and I fought alongside her with her battles. And I'm not trying to be a narcissist here, but I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't for me, she would have died. But then something beautiful happened a couple weeks ago, or a couple days. I think it was a week ago or so. But she told me that she wanted to get better for herself, that she wanted to take the first steps. She wanted to go to therapy and get help and get better mentally. That was very beautiful, and it was or is or should have been life-changing for her. Choosing to get better, choosing what she needs to do. Take that first step. You already have, so take the next. That is going to be where you need to be. Take the next step. See what you have to do. See what you have to do. One thing that helps, that I have found, that's just on the list of things to talk about, is journaling and writing out your thoughts. If you are an overthinker like me, you overthink literally everything. Whether if someone hates you or not, if they even like you, if you should even do this thing or that thing, and everything. Journal it. Write it out. Journal why you felt the way you did that day, and why you are going to probably continue fighting and feeling that way. I know I get tongue-tied a lot, but I'm sorry. I get caught up in the moment and tongue-tied a lot of the times. It's really much better when I don't have a script. When I have a script, I get way more tongue-tied, especially if I'm reading a book out loud. I often go off of script, quote-unquote. Yeah, that's why improv is best for this podcast, is because I kind of know what I'm talking about because I've been there. And I've been having a bad couple days, and I am technically still there. Anyways, writing out your thoughts. This helps figure out what is wrong and how you can choose to change it. You could write out all your problems, all the things that you overthink or are anxious about or get depressed about. or anything like that. Journal them. Write them down. Read them back. Alright. This is what I want you to do. If you are currently depressed, anxious, or overthinking something, and this is why you are here listening to this podcast, I want you to sit down at the end of this podcast, or just pause it right now, and I want you to write out every single thing. Be completely honest with yourself and the pen and the paper. Write out everything that you are overthinking, that you are anxious about, or things that are making you depressed in your life. It doesn't matter what they are, be honest. Be honest about them. You write them all down. Go and do that right now. Pause this podcast right now. Go write them down. Good. Now, I want you to take that piece of paper. I want you to read it to yourself. Pause the podcast and read it to yourself real quick. Are you done? Good. Now, tell yourself things. Tell yourself what is on that list that I can change. What is the one thing that is making me anxious right now that I can change? Alright? What is it? Okay. I don't know what it is because I am not there reading the piece of paper. And I don't have any desire to because those are your thoughts, not mine. If you do need advice, however, and you do end up showing me this head piece of paper on an Instagram picture, so be it. Now, look at what is making you depressed right now, and what is making you overthink right now. And tell yourself how you can change it. Now, I don't know what is on that list, and I don't have much desire to see it. If you show me it on an Instagram post, or just a picture you send me in my private messages, go for it. Show me, and I will help tell you how you can get better. But I expect you to actually listen to my advice. Cough, cough, you know who you are. You don't even listen to this, but cough, cough, you know who you are. Take my advice. Or just take whatever advice you want. It's your choice. I give advice, and I am kind of a narcissist when I say that I give good advice. A lot of the time, I am actually kind of impressed with how I just let myself flow and give good advice. I generally am surprised that I'm somewhat smart. Now journal out your thoughts. Do that, whether once a day, once a week, I don't care. Just journal them out. Tell yourself what you can fix right then. And if you can't fix anything right then, tell yourself what you can fix by next month. A month away from listening to this audio, what can you change? And if you don't think you can, think again, because you can. And if you actually really can't, it's like, say you are 17 years old, living with your family, and your family is currently making you very depressed or anxious or overthinking, then I'm sorry, because then you can't really take my advice because you can't change that. However, if you have family that you trust or friends that you trust, and it is summertime and you don't have school, or you don't have school anyhow because you're smart, unlike me, and actually graduated sooner, then you can go to your friend's house and stay for a month. You can change your course of action. If something is making you depressed, you can change that thing, and you can make it better. Doesn't matter what it is, but it will take time. Obviously. For me, it is my family, and it is my school, and it is my friends, and it's a bunch of other things piling up. I use myself for an example there. I'm that 17-year-old kid. I'm gonna be 18 next year. That's stressing me out. I have nothing to show for in my life besides soon to be 2 episodes of a podcast and a bunch of unwritten stories. Take that first step. It's gonna take time to get better fully. To get fully better. But you gotta take those steps. Now I just spent like 10 minutes talking about one thing. Promise yourself that you're going to get better. Make that promise to yourself. For me, I will be honest with you, I was sitting on the edge, and if I would have taken one more step, I would have been here talking to you right now. If I would have taken that step, and I wouldn't be here. But I didn't take that step, and I promised myself right before I was going to take myself that if I survived that, I would change. I would get better, and I would fight to get better. And I did fight, and I am fighting, and I'm trying to get better for myself, as well as everybody that I care about. You have to promise yourself this, hopefully before it gets to the point where I was. Promise yourself this. Promise you will get better for yourself. Tell yourself, I promise that I will get better for myself. I know it will take time, but I will. And I will fight day in and day out to get better mentally. Promise yourself that. We're getting close to the end of the episode. I only have 2 more things on the list. This next thing is a note on religion. I'm not even sure why I put it on there, but I'm going to work off of it, because improv. I'll also say this with a note. Be random. Embrace the random. Stop living life in a shell. Embrace your random. You are a rainbow. And if you are actually part of the LGBTQ community, then yeah, that's not meant to be that. I meant that as in, you're a rainbow, you're a bunch of colors, and you need to express yourself. Embrace the random. Start saying things that you mean. Start saying your innermost thoughts like, I want a puppy, and I want to have children one day. I want a little girl, and I want twins. Just like that. And that was my innermost thoughts, and that's my dream in my life. Anyhow, back to what I was saying. You're a rainbow. And if you're actually part of the LGBT community, Godspeed to you. Good luck with your life. You will fight more so than others, probably. That's that's actually a very hard path to take, because a lot of people don't support it these days. Granted, it's a lot better than they were back in the 1960s, but still. If you're part of the LGBTQ, I am apologizing now. I don't know much about it besides you can be gay, trans, lesbian, bi, etc. But yeah, I don't know much about that, but I know that if you are in that community, you probably are scared to come out, and I get that to a point, but I'm technically straight or bi-curious. I'm not sure right now. I'm straight according to myself, but it's difficult for those people that are part of that community because coming out to friends or family is scary, because you don't know who's going to support it and who's not. But promise yourself to get better. And this next note, after my tangent about being part of the Pride community, is religion. once again, I'm not sure why I put this on there, but religion can be important. Or if you're like me, who's not very religious, but more of a interesting mindseted individual, trademark that, religion is not very important to me. But to others, religion is extremely important. And you can use religion to get better mentally. If you're Christian or Catholic, start reading the Bible and start praying more. If you're Hindu or Buddhist, I don't know what you do in that religion besides pray and meditate, so do those things. Do what help and use religion to help yourself get better. That's why it's there, amongst other things, but it's there to help you, no matter what you're going through. I haven't read it, but I know the book of Job is about someone that has a lot of mental demons. Figurative demons. Or mental, or actual relative demons. I'm not sure, I haven't read the book of Job, but the guy was very disturbed from what I know. And, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. He was very disturbed and mentally ill. So maybe you can relate to him. I don't know. It's up to you. But you can use religion and you can use it to help start getting the ball rolling to get better. Or you don't have to. I don't know. I'm not religious, and I probably won't be religious. If anything, I am more of a Wicca-minded person, since the Wicca have pretty much no rules, and it's all about meditation, being one with nature, and collecting rocks, it seems. It's not all what the media tells you, and the media tells you being a witch is all casting dark spells and summoning demons. And no, that's not what being a witch is. Being a witch is basically you get excited about trees, collecting sticks and rocks, and putting water in a jar and putting it underneath the moonlight. That pretty much sums up what I know about the religion, and the Wiccan religion is very much not limited. It's not limiting. It tells you basically go do whatever you want, be one with nature. However, Christians and Catholics and stuff all have a bunch of rules and regulations and stuff like that. That's why I personally don't really care for Christianity and Catholicism, which I still cannot pronounce. It's because there's a lot of rules. But yeah, that's me. You're you. Choose what you want, and you can use religion to help get the ball rolling, to help get better. And talking to a preacher or a priest can help because they have good advice. They're there to help you, and they're there to give advice based on what they know about the Bible and as a human. Priests and preachers are there to help, and I highly suggest that if you are religious, go and see one. I'm going to close this episode with notes on self-care and therapy. Self-care is extremely important. You have to care about your body as well as your mind. Do things like exercise, eating healthy, and just taking breaks from social media. If you want to meditate, meditate. That helps as well, because it helps you take a break from life. And taking breaks from social media also helps. And taking time for yourself helps. Those are all forms of self-care. The next episode and the episode after that are going to be on self-care. So episode 3 and 4 are going to be part 1 and part 2 of self-care. You're going to have to wait another week or two for those. And the final closing note is therapy. Don't be afraid to go and see therapy. If that option is open to you, go and see therapy. Go and see therapy. Go see a therapist. I'm not I'm not saying, "Oh, you have to go see a therapist to get better." No. Going into therapy is a form of self-care. And if it helps, so be it. If it doesn't, so be it. Therapists are there to give you advice, like what I'm doing to you right now. What I'm doing. I'm bad at English, and I was born in Oregon, and I speak English all my life. Anyhow, go and see a therapist if the option is open to you and you aren't afraid of them. You shouldn't be afraid of a therapist, and I generally, if I could have, I would have, but I could haven't. And looking back, I probably could have if I asked, but at the same time, I was scared to ask. And I was 16 at the time, and it's still slightly daunting, but still, if you can, go to a therapist if you aren't scared. But keep in mind that they are there to give advice, but their advice is not always what you need to hear. Just like me, I will give you advice, but that advice might not be what you need to hear. Let's see here. Let's see. Talked about that. I think that's it. So, thank you all for listening, and I will catch you all in the next one. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this has helped. I know I went off on a motivational speech for a couple minutes there, and I hope that helped. Yeah, I will talk to you all in the next episode, which will be about self-care. May your battles be short and your light be strong. See ya!